Hello, everyone. It is me, Danielle Jane Mitchell, your up and coming queen of real estate, and I'm here for another episode of Tuesday Tip at 2. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. It is me, Danielle Jane Mitchell, your up and coming queen of real estate, and I'm here for today's and this week's Tuesday Tip at 2. Listen, today we're going to be talking about these documents, some key documents that you're going to see once you go under contract. Number one, when you put in an offer, and once you go under contract. I'm going to point out some of the most important parts of those documents. Okay? But before we get into that, you know what I'm going to ask you guys to do. You already know how we started off, baby. I need you to subscribe. I need you to hit the like button. I need you to comment. I need you to share. I need you to do all of the things because, as I always say, this algorithm be algorithming. Okay? So I need you to do all the things. And hold the phone. Hello to my new subscribers. Hey, everybody. Okay. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Hope you push the all notifications bell. What are we going to do? We're going to get into it. Get into what? Again, like I said at the top of this, we're going to go through some of these documents. I'm really just pulling up like 4 key documents. It's going to be many documents that you see during the home buying process. I just really wanted to point out these 4 documents that are really crucial during your home buying process. Okay. And like I said, you're going to see a lot more documents than 4 once you go under contract for a property. But I just wanted to point out these 4. Now, look at this. We split screening. Oh, yeah. So now we are going to go over the standard agreement of sale. Of course, this looks like any other contract if you've ever seen a contract, right? You have your names, your mailing address. Of course, now this information would be filled out if you were signing these things, right? But I'm just giving you just a document, right? So here you would have, all the pertinent information. Now, I have done a Tuesday Tip at 2 on documents. I've done onboarding documents. I've done the documents for offers and everything like that. So I'm not going to go into detail like I did in those. If you need to see that stuff, go in the archives and check it out. I just want to point you towards the things that are important as far as making sure you're not signing off on something that you don't agree to, right? So right here, the deposit. Now, typically your real estate agent would have already discussed what number you're going to go in at, right? They gave you comps. They let you know, hey, this is what I think you should go in at based on me talking. Hopefully they talk to the listing agent just to get a feel, see if there were any other offers in that did their comps, all that good stuff. And so hopefully they already walked you through what the earnest money deposit is going to be, what the offer is going to be before even filling this out, right? So when you receive this document, all this stuff is going to be filled out. Of course, it should be dated with today's date. Now, let me tell you something. Us realtors, we mess up. We mess up. As many times as we fill this thing out, there are some times where it's just like, darn it, I forgot to change the date, or darn it, I forgot to do something, right? So knowing this for yourself will help your realtor out anyway. It's plenty of times. And it's not because I'm a flub, right? But it's times where it's just like, I forgot, Luckily, it's not things that would be detrimental to a deal if it went left. I don't leave out those details, right? But sometimes it might be, oh, it's the wrong date. I'm like, darn it. So here, this first line item will be today's date, the date that you're signing it. Here will be the purchase price, whatever you agreed on. If that purchase price says something different than what you and your realtor last agreed on, you got to check that, right? And again, a lot of times realtors, they're working on more than one deal. They may have put in multiple offers for you already, and they might forget to change a date. They might forget to change a purchase price. Most times it's just, an oversight as opposed to, oh, you messed up, right? So if this is your sixth offer and the purchase price is clearly based on the last property that you guys put in, it's just one of those things that happens, okay? So be gracious. But anyhow, here in this first line item, you're going to have your earnest money deposit. Now, again, you're doing multiple offers and everything like that. So it may be you should have agreed on whatever the earnest money is going to be. And here, that's what it should say. So if you agree to put down $7,500 for your earnest money deposit, then that's what you're going to have in there. If it says 20,000, then you should be like, we didn't say we was going to put down 20,000, right? So these are the three main things that you want to check on this page at the top. The next you're going to check is, are you getting seller's assist? If you are, that's going to be right here. If you're requesting, if a part of your offer is you getting seller's assist, it's going to say either that dollar amount you and your realtor discussed, or it's going to say a percentage that you and your realtor discussed. Okay. The settlement date, right? You should have discussed what the settlement date is going to be. So that's 30 days. So that means that you're going to be buying a house in 30 days and you need to be ready to move in 30 days into the said house. But either way, that's when the settlement date is in order to buy the property. Okay. The next thing you want to look at on this page is, or the last thing, should I say, right here is the deadline to receive an answer from the seller regarding your offer. Okay. So it could be a counter. It could be, you need to hear something back. So typically it's 24 hours. For some, it depends on the situation. Sometimes I will make it the same day, but most times you try to give that 24 hours. So what I will do when sending out an offer is just shoot over a text, make sure they received it, make sure they receive my email and everything. And say, hey, let me know or whatever like that. And then we proceed from there. And if I haven't heard anything back, then of course, several hours later, I'll just be like, hey, just confirm it if you got my text or if you got my email. The next day for sure, definitely gonna, confirm. So of course you follow up to make sure it was received and, could be reviewed by the selling side. The next part we're going to talk about is this zoning area here. Now, this pertains more to if you're an investor. If you're an investor, you're going to like this one. This is pretty much saying that if the zoning that's in here is not actually the zoning of the property, and why I say this applies to probably more so investors or somebody trying to get an investment property like a duplex or a triplex or something like that. Typically, depending on whatever municipality that you're in, it has to be classified as, a multifamily, whether it's a duplex, triplex, or commercial, anything like that. So what this is saying here, that, hey, if it's not zoned, how you said it's zoned, if you put in here and said that it's zoned as such and such, then it needs to be zoned as that. And if it's not, then the buyer has the option to back out of the deal. The next thing that you want to consider, any exclusions. This is like your fixtures, what you're going to get from the property. Now, what's included in the sale of the property is, most things, right? Most of the typical things, the bathtub, right? That's included. Typically, appliances are included. They might say, they're excluding a refrigerator or something like that. That is possible. But like your stove and stuff like that, that stays in there, right? So, these are kind of things you want to breeze through and just make sure it's not looking odd. You want to make sure that mortgage contingency, you want to make sure that's checked off. That is definitely something. You want to make sure that says elected. Why? Because that means that if your financing for some reason doesn't go through, if it falls apart, that way you can get your earnest money deposit back in case financing falls through, right? Because life happens, God forbid, get laid off from your job, you can't go through with it. So those things are not good. So you want to definitely make sure that that's checked if you're getting a home inspection. Okay. I always tell people it's one or the other. You do not sign both. Elected means that you're going to get it done. Waive means that you're not. Okay. But you want to make sure that if you are getting these inspections, that it's elected. If you discuss with your realtor that you were getting these home inspections done, you want to definitely make sure that it's signed off. Okay. So that's very important. If you're not getting it done, you want to make sure that they're all waived. And I will pretty much say the last thing you want to make sure of is that down here, making sure that you got the consumer notice, that you got your estimated closing costs. Typically, that estimated closing cost is sent, and we're going to actually go over that buyer's estimated closing cost. It is sent with the contract. Deposit money notice that is sent with, the contract, lead based paint that's sent with it as well. So all those things are sent with it. So you just want to make sure that that is a part of the documents that you're receiving to sign off on. And then you want to make sure you sign everything. You initial all of these and you sign everything here. In this area, you want to look at the verbiage. Does it say add your sell? Does it say this is contingent upon, something, anything, any contingencies, any additional information, right? You want to make sure you look at that and make sure whatever verbiage is in there is what you agreed upon with your realtor. Okay. All right. So we are going to look at buyer's estimated closing costs. Okay. So in these documents, or in this document, we have buyer action Jackson. So some of you may know who that is, or maybe dating myself, but Action Jackson is buying his property at 123 Boo Boo Lane. And so this is what the estimated closing cost is going to look like. It's going to be a PDF form, right? So you have your interest rate here. So you want to make sure it's calculating the right interest rate, only for the sake of you having an idea what your closing costs are going to be. Estimated closing costs is an estimate. For me, I like to try to make sure that I'm gonna be as close as possible to what the estimated closing costs are going to turn out to be. Okay, I want to make sure I'm as close as possible, so that's why I try and do. Okay, so let's say the settlement is in a month. Purchase price is $585. Down payment, let's say this is a first-time home buyer who's getting a conventional loan. Typically, for first-time home buyers who's getting a conventional loan could pay 3% down instead of 5%. And so that's the down payment there. That's wrapped into your closing costs. That's your mortgage amount. All the good things, right? Mortgage discount points. Mortgage discount points is you buying down, your interest rates, things like that. That could be in there. I typically put that in there because it helps me overshoot what the estimated closing costs are going to be. It helps me to get to a more accurate, because I don't know all the fees. Let's start there. I'm the realtor, right? I don't know all the fees that the mortgage company is going to have. I don't know all the fees. I have an idea what numbers are supposed to look like. That's what I have an idea. But every lender is different. It should be around the same as far as fees that are being charged. Every title company is different, but it should be around the same amount of fees title company charges. And all of these here, which is from your municipality, some of it like your transfer taxes, your deed recordings, all those other things, it should be around the same. I just try to give a very close estimate to what you're going to wind up paying in the end. That's what I like to do. Okay. So all of these numbers here, you can ask your realtors what they are. And 9 times out of 10, we're going to be like, date of numbers that's in there. They be in there. They be in there all the time. And I'm just trying to give you an estimate because they're gonna be in there, right? They're gonna be in there. So just giving you an estimate. And that's it. Okay. But anyhow, moving on. So here are like your home inspection termite radon. We talked about that in the agreement to sell. If you're getting those done, those are around the cost of them, and that's really what you're prepaying for, not in your closing costs, but it's a prepayment. Any broker's fees, okay? Are you paying any commission to your realtor? Because sometimes, you may pay part of their commission or something like that. That is something to consider, that fee. The rest of this is just what comes with buying a house, guys. Okay. So you want to look at all of those fees, all that good stuff. Any seller assist, if it's seller's assist, make sure that's in there. Again, this is something from the realtor to give you an estimate, but the true person who's going to have all the good numbers is a title company. And we're going to go over a couple of papers or a document that they give you. Well, two of them that you'll see. Earnest money deposit, of course, that's credited. I always tell my clients, hey, that gets credited. Your prepaid services, what we talked about, like the home inspection and your appraisal, prepaid. And this gives you your monthly estimate. A lot of times, my monthly estimate is over what the actual monthly estimate is going to be. But I would rather it be a little bit over, and you can be like, hey, it's not as much as we thought it was. And it's like, yay. And then you'd be like, I thought it was going to be $4,750 and it's 5,500. It's like, no, we don't want that. So I typically buffer it to be a little bit over as far as the cash needed at settlement and as far as the monthly. Closing disclosure, the CD. So you might see this several times. Now your lender will send this to you, and then at the final final, you will get one of these again that will have the final numbers. What are you looking for on this? You're looking for your loan amount. You're looking at your interest rate. Don't we miss those interest rates right there? And you're looking at your principal. The main things you want to focus on is this interest rate and the principal. Those should never change throughout the duration from the time you go under contract till the time you get to the closing table. The interest rate and your principal should not change. If it changes, it's because you locked in your interest rate points and all that good stuff to bring it down. So, but these should stay the same. Your insurance, that may change. That those things may change, but your principal and interest should stay the same. Okay. This lets you know your closing costs. This lets you know how much cash is needed to closing. Okay. Typically you get kind of like an estimated upfront CD from your lender, and then like I said, you'll get like a final one towards the time of your closing. Of course, this breaks down all your fees, blah, 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 blah. What you want to focus on is this cash to close, your principal and interest on this document. If you are to have received any seller's assist, if you were supposed to receive, anything like that, it's going to be in these line items. Okay, so you definitely want to check for that and make sure that is in here. Now, of course, your realtor and me, for sure, I'm going to check this document. We've received this document as well to make sure that it's looking the way that it's supposed to look. So your realtor is definitely going to double check. But again, this is for you to be able to, view some of these things and make sure it's good to go. All right. So any sellers assist, any credits from the lender, any grants, anything like that, it should be in there. All right. And lastly, you have an ALTA. Again, you sign this on the day of closing. You're going to see this, and all it is a breakdown and a breakout like this one. But the difference is that this is showing the buyer and the seller side. The buyer and the seller side. So it's just all these breakdowns and adjustments on this sheet here with the seller and the buyer. Okay. And so it's literally the same things, right? It has the commissions, it has transfer fees, it has all the good stuff on here for you to be able to see and then sign. All right. That was a lot, but I think it was worth it. Thank you guys for joining me for today's and this week's Tuesday tip at 2. I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that that made some things clear. You're going to receive a lot of documents and go under contract, putting the offers from signing the contract to closing. But these are just some key ones that I wanted to point out to help you be able to understand them a little bit better and really just an overview of these documents. Listen, if you're interested, if you are interested in doing any of this, if you're interested in buying, selling, you know what you need to do. Okay, you need to go to book.djmrealtyco.com, get book.djmrealtyco.com and schedule your consultation. Okay, remember there's no place like home, no place like home buying, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye. Okay.